On our broadcast tonight, surprise trip. The president pays a visit to the troops, a war zone detour on the long way home. Shattered, the death toll rises, the ground still shaking violently as Italy struggles to dig out after that awful earthquake. Flooding the zone, college graduates, a lot of them prepare to hit the job market, which is hitting right back. And Golden Age, an Olympic champion sets out to prove there's no expiration date when it comes to setting goals or winning gold medals. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. As far as anybody knew, he was flying home after a long overseas trip until word arrived this morning that the president had added a stop on the way home in Iraq. Air Force One landed in the beginnings of an afternoon sandstorm, and so the president was confined to the air base. A final stop, a flight from Istanbul, Turkey to Baghdad, intended to send a message to the Americans serving long combat tours a long way from home in what is a changing conflict. Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, was there when the president landed and covered the visit. He's with us live from Baghdad tonight. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. This was President Obama's third visit to Iraq, but his first as commander-in-chief, making a surprise stop at Baghdad's Camp Victory. At times, the room looked frenzied, excited, like a rock concert. Hundreds of U.S. troops clamored to take photographs of their commander-in-chief in the rotunda of what had been Saddam Hussein's favorite palace.
I love you back.
But the biggest cheers came when President Obama said 6 years after the U.S. invasion, Iraqis must now take over.
It is time for us to transition to the Iraqis. They need to take responsibility for their country and for their sovereignty.
He awarded 10 Medals of Valor and promised to stick to a plan to pull out combat forces by August 2011.
We have not forgotten what you've already done. We are grateful for what you will do. And as long as I'm in the White House, you are going to get the support that you need.
But the surprise visit wasn't without complications. Because of a sandstorm, President Obama wasn't able to fly to central Baghdad to see Iraq's prime minister. So Mr. Nouri al-Maliki visited the president on a U.S. military base. Obama's message, the Iraqi government must reconcile between Sunnis and Shiites. Across Baghdad, at barbershops and bakeries, President Obama was warmly welcomed. He's the first American president who supports Islam, he said. Reaching out to Muslims was one of President Obama's main themes. He arrived in Baghdad from Istanbul, Turkey, once capital of the Muslim world.
Thank you.
In a town hall with Turkish students, the president said he is personally committed to engagement with the Muslim world.
We can't afford to talk past one another, to focus only on our differences.
Asked how he was different from President Bush, Mr. Obama said steering the U.S. is like piloting a big tanker.
They're not like speedboats. You can't just whip them around and go in a new direction. Instead, you kind of slowly move it, and then eventually you end up in a very different place.
NBC's chief White House correspondent, Chuck Todd, has been traveling with the president.
They'd say that the real accomplishment for Mr. Obama this week is that he enhanced his presidential stature, not just in America, but in Europe and here in Turkey.
In Baghdad, President Obama stayed just 4 hours, but he left a lasting impression. Tonight, Air Force One took off with its lights turned off, apparently out of security concerns, as President Obama began the 12-hour trip back to Washington. Brian?
And Richard, you've lived there for so many years, yet when you come back after time away, what's the evidence of the change, the evidence of the transition that's going on there?
Today, for example, I was able to walk around for hours, going to bakeries, barbershops, lingering on the streets. That was something I was not able to do even 1 year ago. But there is a concern that this stability is very fragile. Just in the last 48 hours, more than 45 people have been killed in attacks across Baghdad. Brian?
Richard Engel, for a long time based in Baghdad, our chief foreign affairs correspondent. Richard, thanks for your reporting tonight. The other big story we continue to follow tonight is in Italy, where the ground has not stopped shaking and the death toll continues to climb after yesterday's powerful earthquake there. At least 228 people are now confirmed dead. The quake struck about 60 miles east of the city of Rome. Some of the worst damage continues to be in the town of L'Aquila. NBC's Martin Fletcher is there for us tonight. Martin, good evening.
Brian, it's still very volatile here. The ground's been rumbling all day. There was a 5.6 earthquake that demolished more buildings and was felt 60 miles away in Rome. More pain for the survivors. First, there's the shock of the earthquake. And this was the moment caught on a security camera inside a shop when the quake struck. And then there's the shock of the survivors. "Where's my house?" she cries. "It's gone." Luigi Pellucci's mother and daughter died in their beds, crushed by their house, which collapsed on them. The Village of Honor dates back almost 1,000 years. They're tough farm folk here, mostly retired, barely eking out a living on the valley floor. They're used to pain, but not like this.
Tutti morti. They're all dead.
Of 300 inhabitants, 40 died, dozens injured. It's always sad in these situations when you find the family photographs. I suppose hopefully somebody will come and reclaim this pretty soon. I'll just leave it here so they can find it if they come. But it turned out they died too. But there's also good news. There are only a few children in the village and most survived, including Salvia Antonietta's whole family. What is the little girl's name? The name?
Azzurra.
Azzurra.
Anna Giulia.
Anna Giulia.
Alice.
Everybody's alive.
Tutto bene.
Most survivors slept the night here in their cars, in a field away from the houses in case of another earthquake. It's a similar story in 26 villages in the area, about 15,000 homeless. Rescuers have pulled out at least 150 survivors. This family dog refused to leave his owners under the rubble, but by the time rescuers found them, they died. But good news a short while ago, this young woman rescued after 42 hours. It's still dangerous, though. There have been more than 200 aftershocks today alone. As we prepared for a live broadcast, the earth rumbled and shook, a 4.9 earthquake. That was an earthquake, a little after tremor right now, and it shows you how important it is to stay away from the buildings because all of these structures are unstable and potentially deadly. These elderly survivors now have a new sorrow to share and common goals to rebuild their homes and their lives. Prime Minister Berlusconi said rescuers would give the search for survivors another 48 hours and then switch from a rescue operation to recovery. Brian?
Martin Fletcher with us tonight from L'Aquila, Italy. Martin, thanks. We turn now to news in this country, to Washington, and we go in the case of former Alaska Republican Senator Ted Stevens. Once among the most powerful men in Washington, he is out of the U.S. Senate now. He was convicted on corruption charges in federal court last year. But it turns out the case against him was flawed, and a judge today not only threw out his conviction, he ordered that the government lawyers who prosecuted him should face investigation themselves. Our report from our justice correspondent, Pete Williams.
When Ted Stevens came to court today, he was no longer the one in legal trouble. The prosecutors were. They persuaded a jury last fall to find him guilty of failing to disclose that an oil company did extensive remodeling of his Alaska house. But Judge Emmett Sullivan today called their trial conduct shocking. In 25 years on the bench, he said, I have never seen anything approaching the misconduct I've seen in this case. He said they failed at least 10 times to turn evidence over to defense lawyers that could have helped Stevens, as they're legally obligated to do.
Prosecutors learn earlier in their career that the failure to turn over information, evidence helpful to the defense in the case, is the third rail of prosecution.
They never revealed a critical fact about the star witness in the case, oil company executive Bill Allen. In court last fall, Allen recalled a conversation with a friend, joking that Stevens never meant what he wrote in a note to Allen, quote, "You owe me a bill for work done on the house." But it turns out that 6 months before the trial, Allen could not remember any such conversation. Today, the judge dismissed the case and stunned the courtroom by launching his own criminal investigation of the 6 government lawyers, appointing an outside lawyer to act as independent prosecutor.
I think it was very remarkable. The number of things that have occurred in this case are extraordinary, and this was quite a step that Judge Sullivan took.
Stevens himself spoke briefly, saying the judge has restored his faith in the justice system. Whatever Ted Stevens may or may not have done, he's free and clear tonight. But if it turns out the prosecutors intentionally hid evidence, they could face jail time. Pete Williams, NBC News at Federal Court in Washington.
The state of Vermont today became the latest state to allow same-sex couples to marry. The measure passed the Vermont state legislature by a 2/3 majority. That overrode a veto by the governor, making Vermont the 4th state to allow same-sex marriage after Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Iowa. When our broadcast continues here on a Tuesday night, preparing to count every American in the census of 2010, and there's a new campaign to make sure everyone rises to be counted. And later, a famous name from the Olympic Games and what might be the next barrier.
She's losing her battle against nasal allergies, but we found a way to fight it.
Omneris to the nose!
Omneris works differently than many other allergy medications. Omneris fights nasal allergy symptoms that occur from allergic inflammation. Relieve those symptoms with Omneris. Side effects may include headache, nosebleed, and sore throat. Mission accomplished. Oh, incoming! Ask your doctor about Omneris. In the battle against nasal allergy symptoms, Omneris combats the cause.
Anxious about quitting cold turkey? Make that first step easier with the Nicoderm CQ patch. Nicoderm steps you down from nicotine gradually, doubling your chance for success. Nicoderm CQ, 3 steps, 10 weeks, and you're free.
I absolutely love playing badminton. Aleve makes me pain-free, so I can move on the court.
Only 2 Aleve can stop pain all day. That would take twice as many Advil or 4 times as many Tylenol.
With Aleve, I'll never stop playing badminton.
We speak car. Sure, but do we speak hybrid? Yes, we do. And we can say 700 miles on a single tank and EPA estimated 41 mpg city. And all the words stick because they're true. We speak the most fuel-efficient midsize sedan in America. We speak the all-new 2010 Ford Fusion Hybrid. Get in and drive one.
This fiber, I'd had my fill. Then I found Miralax. Miralax relieves constipation with no bloating, no excess gas, no taste, no grit. You'll see, it's clearly different.
Restore your body's natural rhythm with Miralax.
Have you heard about Miralax?
It's a different kind of laxative that's kind to your body.
Miralax relieves constipation with no bloating.
No cramping.
And now, no prescription.
Restore your body's natural rhythm with Miralax.
Friday, Dateline's Unsolved Case Squad premieres.
You have to follow the evidence where it takes you.
A new team of forensic detectives brings their expertise to an unsolved crime.
I want DNA evidence.
Join the investigation. Study the evidence.
It doesn't get much better than this.
Premieres Friday, 10/9 Central on NBC.
Keith tracks the finale of the President's European Tour. Did Obama win global hearts and minds? Countdown with Keith Olbermann tonight only on MSNBC.
The federal government is gearing up for its largest ever peacetime undertaking, the 2010 census, the process of counting everyone in the U.S. that takes place every decade. And there's so much riding on how well the government does the counting. Tonight, Jose Diaz-Balart of NBC's Spanish language network Telemundo reports on what's at stake.
The whole point of the Complete Count Committee program.
In Broward County, Florida, and across the country, census workers are strategizing how to count every person, legal and illegal, living in the United States.
United we stand.
But the census is more than just a tally of the population.
You look at the fact that to be counted means resources for your community, for your children, then all of us should want to make this happen and make it successful.
The census translates into money and political power. It dictates how and where more than $300 billion a year of federal aid is distributed. And shifts in population alter how many members of Congress each state will have.
There is one issue census officials are keenly aware of. There are entire communities in this country that fear the U.S. government. Getting them to answer questions is not going to be easy. Especially in communities where illegal immigrants have been subjected to frequent raids and deportation. There, the U.S. government is often seen as the problem, not the solution. Miguel came to this country from Mexico. The fear is that the information will end up in the hands of immigration, he says, and we would be deported.
I know a lot of people don't want to fill out forms for the federal government wondering what that information might be used for. Federal law says everything is sacrosanct, sacred, and private.
The Census Bureau says it's working hard on education and awareness. For the first time, bilingual census forms will be sent to 13 million homes. And the 1.3 million census workers will reflect America's diverse population.
Don't hide from the process. This is something that's actually beneficial for everybody in the United States.
A message you will hear for a year to come in English and 58 other languages. Jose Diaz-Balart, NBC News, Homestead, Florida.
As we said here last night, this is opening day season in baseball, and that means some notable Americans throwing out the first pitch in ballparks across the country just about every day this week. And today in Boston, a famous son of Massachusetts, Ted Kennedy, appearing on the mound in Red Sox red. His grandfather, Honey Fitz, the mayor of Boston, threw out the very first ball at Fenway in 1912. And while Senator Kennedy is under treatment for a cancerous brain tumor, he says he has agreed to throw out the first ball in 2012. When we continue with the Tuesday edition of our broadcast, after the pomp of graduation, the graduates these days are facing some grim circumstances.
I know rheumatoid arthritis is painful, but I didn't know it could attack my joints.
Scientists believe that in moderate to severe RA, your immune system can cause serious damage.
But Enbrel enables me to fight progressive joint damage.
Enbrel works on your immune system to suppress inflammation, help relieve pain and fatigue, and keep joint damage from getting worse.
Enbrel gives me energy to do many of the things I love.
Because prescription Enbrel suppresses your immune system, it may lower your ability to fight infections such as the flu. So don't start it if you have one. Serious, sometimes fatal events have occurred, including viral, bacterial, and fungal infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, and nervous system and blood disorders. Tell your doctor if you're prone to infections, have any open sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if while on Enbrel, you experience persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness.
Ask your rheumatologist and envision your possibilities with Enbrel.
Cheerios works naturally to help lower cholesterol. Let it help lower yours.
Want bigger, more beautiful potted plants? Miracle Grow makes it easy with moisture control potting mix. Watch. The soil is so amazing, it actually stores water, only releasing it when plants need it, taking the guesswork out of watering. Plus, there's Miracle Grow plant food mixed right in that feeds for 3 months. So plants grow twice as big. Easy and amazing. Want it big? Want it beautiful? Make it Miracle Grow.
We'll be experiencing turbulence. Please secure your belongings.
Glad Press and Seal Wrap. Just pull, place, and press. It gives you a spill-proof seal and makes instant bags to help keep food fresh. To seal almost anything, Glad Press and Seal Wrap. Get Glad.
First we add the baking soda. Then we put the vinegar.
Scientific explorations in the kitchen? Bring it.
It started bubbling.
New Bounty is thick and absorbent. It cleans the mess with less.
Then you know what, Teddy? It exploded! Yeah, it hit the ceiling!
In lab tests, Bounty absorbs twice as much as the bargain brand. And it's more durable.
It was really cool.
Why use more when you can use less? New Bounty, the thick, quicker picker-upper.
NBC News congratulates Richard Engel, winner of the prestigious Peabody Award for his reporting from the front lines in Afghanistan.
Nightly News at nightly.msnbc.com.
We mentioned this story before the break. This year's college graduation class will be the largest in American history, and they're all going to need work, and they are entering the worst job market in modern history. And so we asked NBC's Maria Menounos to look at the prospects.
The way Danielle McGill figures it, she sent out 100 resumes for every year she attended college, 400 in all, and she's still jobless.
That's my new job, is to look for a job. Hi, David. How are you?
And she's about to get a lot of company.
What was your major? Finance and real estate.
In a few weeks, 1.5 million college graduates will enter the workforce just as employers shed millions of jobs.
They're just taking information for, when everything starts to pick up and get better.
And with growing numbers delaying retirement, these grads are competing for even fewer jobs and competing against out-of-work, more experienced talent. USC senior Whitney Middleton's job search has been like a final exam that will never end.
It's kind of like weight on your shoulders, and it's only getting heavier and heavier.
And the communications major isn't likely to get that weight off her shoulders anytime soon. Employers say they plan to hire 22% fewer college grads this year.
This was the generation where every kid got a trophy on the soccer team, so they've had a lot of success. And now suddenly we're in a situation where all of that has changed very, very quickly.
Students graduating now expect lower salaries than their peers who graduated during better economic times. But what they might not expect? Studies of past recessions show those salaries never catch up.
With this market, if I can get anything for any kind of experience, I'll take it.
A grim reality for some, but for many, better than the alternative of no job at all.
I want to keep trying. I hate to just quit, but it's hard when every day you hear, no, we're not hiring.
Which means for the class of '09, the days of cramming aren't over yet. Maria Menounos, NBC News, Northridge, California.
This next story received a huge circulation on the internet today for good reason. It started when a couple sailing on the waters off Queensland, Australia late last year saw their dog swept overboard in heavy seas. They considered her lost at sea and did not, sadly, expect to see her again. But the dog has surfaced. It apparently made its way 5 miles through shark-infested waters to a remote Australian island and survived, living off the land apparently till being discovered by visiting rangers patrolling the island 4 months later. She's been reunited with her owners, who have new reason to believe there is nothing like the determination and resolve of a good dog. And when we come back, making the most of a second chance to be first.
Fishing pole? It's been a while. You stood in the basement gathering dust while I, sneezing, itching eyes, kept you from our favorite stream. The one that runs through a field where pollen floats through the air. But now, with the strength of 24-hour Zyrtec to relieve my worst allergy symptoms, indoors and outdoors. Let's go before the fish stop biting. They won't wait for us. But that's okay. Zyrtec starts working 2 hours faster than Claritin. Today we battle wits with the trout. With Zyrtec, I can love the air.
I learned a lot when I found out I had high cholesterol, but I didn't know that it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. That's why my doctor told me about Levitra.
Certain medical conditions, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, can decrease blood flow, which may lead to ED.
That was news to me. My doctor told me Levitra could help.
Levitra works by increasing blood flow to help treat ED.
Levitra works for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems, are on alpha blocker therapy, or have uncontrolled high blood pressure, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss of vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away. Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
I thought I knew all about high cholesterol.
But then my doctor told me something I didn't know.
While I was building my life, my high cholesterol was contributing to plaque buildup in my arteries.
That's why my doctor prescribed Crestor.
People everywhere are learning that plaque buildup is a real reason to lower high cholesterol, and that Crestor can help. Along with diet, Crestor does more than lower bad cholesterol. It raises good. Crestor is also proven to slow the buildup of plaque in arteries. Crestor isn't for everyone, like people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests will check for liver problems. You should tell your doctor about other medicines you're taking, or if you have muscle pain or weakness, that could be a sign of serious side effects. Like others, while you've been building your life, plaque may have been building in your arteries. Find out more at Crestor.com. Then ask your doctor if it's time for Crestor.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
This is a KGW News Channel 8 update.
Next, test driving an electric car company, how Oregon's governor is working to lure a new factory and jobs. And the battle over killing sea lions at Bonneville Dam, the challenge in court.
Cloudy skies have come back to the forecast, and so has the rain. I will tell you when it's going to arrive coming up after Nightly News.
We're back here tonight with more of the stories we've asked you to post on our website about people making a difference for others in this economic downturn, the random acts of kindness that are a part of this economic story playing out across the country. We received this email from Sarah at the Skyline Comedy Cafe in Appleton, Wisconsin. She writes, Nights of Laughter is an initiative that the owner and I came up with after seeing Nightly News Making a Difference segment. We wanted to do something, however small, to help people facing difficult times. Nights of Laughter offers free admission to those recently unemployed or current members of the military. We're trying to do all we can to just get people out to smile and forget their troubles, if only for an evening. And Sarah, thanks for that. We're going to close the broadcast tonight with a story for the strivers out there. If you watch the Beijing Olympic Games, then you know the name Dara Torres. Two numbers of note here, 41 and 12. She is 41, and she has 12 medals, and she's all about striving. Our report tonight from NBC's Amy Robach.
It was an unforgettable Olympic moment. 41-year-old Dara Torres falling just short of gold in Beijing.
1/100th of a second!
A moment, she says, that lit a fire under her.
And I feel like I still have unfinished business, and I don't think I would be back in the water if I had won that gold medal in the 50 free that I got second place in by 100th of a second. I know, 100th of a
Trust me,
second.
you know. Just a few weeks after the Olympics, she was back in the water. She's training for the World Championships this summer. But will we see Dara Torres in London 2012, a 6th Olympics?
We'll see what happens.
You sound a little different than you did in Beijing.
Yeah, no, this is it. This is definitely it. Let the kids have a chance now, you know. Did I say that?
Torres used to be one of the kids, winning her first Olympic medal at 17. She showed us, along with her daughter Tessa, all 12 she's earned.
You really want that individual goal. I want that individual goal. But I don't know if it's ever going to happen in my life. But, you know,
She's a budding journalist here. Why, Mommy? Why?
Why do I want a gold medal? Well, because you said it was the prettiest.
Torres has also written a new book about her life.
You're more beautiful in person.
On swimming, motherhood, divorce, and losing her father to cancer.
I want people to understand that, yeah, we're elite athletes, but we're human also. We all have our ups and downs and obstacles we have to endure.
Inspiring Americans of all ages to reach for their goals, big and small.
To think that if I were a swimmer, I could be an Olympian at my age, it would be phenomenal.
They all come up to me and talk to me and tell me their stories, and it's sort of a boomerang effect where their stories inspire me to want to keep going.
So many women don't even want to tell their age. Your age is your story.
I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I can never lie about my age. That's just the bottom line, you know?
In fact, Torres turns 42 next week. Amy Robach, NBC News, Parkland, Florida.
And that's our broadcast for this Tuesday night. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brian Williams. We hope to have you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
Murder over gas? A gas station attendant is dead, run down, police say, when she tried to stop a driver who didn't want to pay.
My sister gone. Why are you over there? Only $34.
We're in court with the suspect. Sea Lion Challenge activists go to court to try and stop the killing of sea lions at Bonneville Dam, why they say the state's trapping the wrong animals. Business buzz. Oregon's governor test drives another electric car.
Oregon has the opportunity to not only drive these vehicles, but also to make these vehicles.
What it will take to drive home the deal.
From the KGW HD studios, where the news comes first. News Channel 8 at 6 starts now.
Hello, I'm Tracy Berry.
And I'm Joe Donlin. First at 6, murder for gas. A memorial outside a Washington gas station where a clerk was run down. And the driver, a man witnesses say, didn't pay for the fill-up. News Channel 8's Ann Yeager is live in Chehalis where the suspect appeared in court. Ann?
Joe, John